Hello everyone and welcome to my latest tutorial, and today it's a little bit of fun and it kind of symbolises Timo Werner and Kai Havertz being a little bit out of the depth in the Premier League. They've not had the greatest first half to the season, so without further ado I'm going to get straight into it. So I'm working on a Mac, so I'm going to press Command N. I'm going to press Command N for a new document, and I'm working on 1080 by 1080 pixels because this is going to be for Instagram. And Instagram, they say that all images get compressed down to 1080, so I'll just keep it simple like that. 144 RGB colour 8-bit, white background, and you can name it if you want, but I'm just going to click OK. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my grass. So hopefully all these images will be in the link in the description below. Just let this load a second. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to place it down there. I might make it a fraction bigger. So just I'm going to pull it up like so, maybe not quite as big. Something around that size, that looks fine. Okay, I'm going to go to my ellipse tool, or my rectangle tool, sorry. Okay, if you don't see it there, just press U on your keyboard, hold down, and then select the rectangle tool. Make sure you've got path selected. Okay, and I'm just going to probably go as high as I can, something like that. Just close that box there. Okay, and I'm just going to click mask, and I'm just going to hit enter, and there is our grass placed. Next I'm going to bring in the sky. So I've got another image here, and I'm going to place him somewhere around there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it below the grass. So with our layers palette just over on the right here, okay, this image here, this sky image, hit V on my keyboard tool. For my move tool, okay, press Command T. For my transform tool, okay, when I grow it, it'll go underneath. So just to start with, just going to roughly place it around there, and we'll place it again in a minute. And we're going to get all our bits and bobs in first with the seaweed image, which you can just see back here. Okay, we'll do that towards the end. We'll just get the basic effect going first. So I'm going to bring in this sea level. I'm going to go down here. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. Okay, make this layer here should be selected. Okay, again I'm going to go back to my rectangle tool. Just going to zoom in. Not Command 1, that's 100%, but just underneath the horizon. I'm just going to drag and drop. Something like that, exactly what we did before. And click mask and hit enter. Okay, press Command 0 and it'll resize it. Now you can see our sky needs resizing, so what I'm going to do is I would like to see a little bit deeper. So got the sea level, press Command T. I'm just going to grow it up a little bit, and we'll go for something like that, and it's looking fantastic. Now before we proceed, what we can do is with the sky level, okay, we can just go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur, just give the sky a little filter. A little blur. Just give it 2.5, something like that. Just soften it up a little bit. Okay, so it's not too focused in. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to name my layers, just because it gets a little bit complicated, or it does in my head. So it goes without saying, I'm going to call this one sky, and I'm going to give this the colour blue. Now this is just me and my workflow, just so I can ID on my layers palette the different layers. The grass, so I'm going to name grass, and I'll give that one a green. And then we've got our sea. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'll call this sea bottom. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, in fact, we'll give that an orange. Okay, I'm going to duplicate it, so I'm going to press Command J, or Control J if you work on Windows, or you can simply just drag and drop onto that new layer palette, just there, that new layer symbol. So copy it up to the top there. Okay, and we'll call this sea top, and we'll do the red for this one. So red is top, orange is bottom. Okay, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, just to make things easy, I'm going to bring in one of the players, just one of them, and I'll bring in Timo Werner, and I'll just place him down. And it doesn't matter where his size and whatnot. It's just so we've got something to work with. So how it gets complicated. Okay, so I'm going to place him in between the levels, in between the sea. Okay, but what I want to be able to see his body underneath this water. Same for Kai Havertz and the football. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the bottom and basically just follow along. This gets complicated. Okay, so I'm just going to hit pen tool for this one. Okay, now zoom in a little bit. What I want is this top of this C here. Okay, that's what's going to duplicate and be over the top of the player. So what I'm going to do, let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to select him up here just off the top. In fact, I'm going to go a bit lower because I'm going to brush mask it off. Sorry, I'm holding shift down so I've got a nice straight line, and I'm going to close the gap. So obviously hit P on your pen tool, make sure you've got path selected. Okay, I'm going to make a selection, 0 pixels, okay, and press Command J. And if I just get rid of that C top there. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got Timo Werner. Okay, I'm just going to drop him. In fact, no, I'm not going to keep him there, and it's the C bottom that I'm going to bring to the top. And I'm going to lower the opacity of the C bottom to 70%. And with this C bottom, this layer here, so I've complicated it now with the colours, I knew I would do that. Okay, this C top level here we can get rid of now. So see the bottom is orange, okay, and this new one, this layer 1, that is our new red layer. That's the top of the water. Think of it as boiling water at the top. Okay, and this C bottom layer, okay, we're going to mask away. So I'm going to select this little window here, select the layer mask option down the bottom, make sure you've got this little blank one here, hit B on your keyboard, and we're going to go for a nice soft brush. Go to general brushes. Okay, these should be on your Photoshop. And just to start with, I'm going to have 100%. And Chris, I know we've got the orange one selected. I know we're working off the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to paste away the top. So I'm going to hold shift down, go along the top, and make sure you've got black selected, sorry. And there you go, Timo Werner comes into play. Now if we get rid of that top layer there, you can see how we've got rid of him. And if I bring the opacity back up to this layer here, okay, you can see the difference we've made. And I bring in the C top, and Timo Werner comes in quite nicely just there. Now what I need to do is this level here, this layer here, the top C level, okay, I need to blend in quite nicely with this layer. So if you noticed, I use this white line as a gauge. Okay, I'm going to do the reverse on the red layer, on the top layer. So select the layer mask. Okay, I'm just a little bit below that white line. Okay, so we've got a soft brush because they'll overlap. I'm just going to paint along. Whoop. Okay, and if I add it back in, okay, you can see where it's starting to blend together, but I can see this, the sky image just below. So what I need to do is I just need to play around with it. So I'm going to use my bracket keys on my keyboard. Okay, I've got the top layer selected, and I think the top layer is fine. I think it's this bottom layer, so I'm going to paste back on. So I've got white selected, just going a little bit higher. There we go. Just coming down, and you can see there how we're getting rid of that sky image. And to be fair, because it's a seaside and a beach, it kind of looks underneath the water anyway, so I'm not too fussed. And I'm pretty happy with that. It's looking okay. So what you can see here as well now, Timo, we can't see his legs, so if we reduce the opacity down to about 75%, I think that's looking quite good so far. We just need to tidy it up a little bit. So how can we do that? So As it stands, we've got our sky, our grass, our layer 1, so this is the top C that we need to rename. Okay, and then we've got our bottom C here, so let's just tidy it up, let's just have a look. Okay, so I'm going to go with a hard brush now this time, so change it to a hard brush maybe. Black selected. Okay, let's just try that. Let's play around with it. Basically, we want the two C's, get rid of Timo Werner. We want the two C's to be nice and flush. If we bring Timo back in, okay, he's looking quite good there, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a layer mask to him. Okay, make it nice and small, blend, change it to black, and go with a soft brush. I'm just going to paint across him like that. I think that's looking quite good. He's in the sea there. Happy days. Okay, and I'm going to bring Kai Havertz in as well. And what we can do now is we can just place them around. So make them a little bit bigger for the sake of the image. In fact, I should have done that before I did Timo Werner. So what I'll do is I'll delete that layer mask there. Press Command T on Timo. And I'll keep him like that. Okay, probably not done the sizes too good. Kai Havertz again. I'll just make you a little bit smaller, mate. About the same size. Yeah, happy days. Okay, layer masks. Nice soft brush. And just paint across on him there. And then Kai Havertz, same again. Okay, layer mask. Make sure it's nice. It's roughly the same size. And they look like they're in the sea there. Yeah, this C could do with a little bit of tidying up. It did take me a little while to get it right, so that's the top C, so let's have a look. If we go to white here, got a soft brush selected. Okay, I'm just painting across a little bit, and with the bottom C, what I'm going to do is make sure you got these layers selected. I think that blends in a little bit better. I did this this sort of image a long time ago. It's one of the first things I learned on Photoshop, and there's quite a few tutorials out there. I just thought I'd put a sports spin on it because that's what my website, my tutorial channel is about. And there is a few different methods of doing it, but I did find this one easy. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with how they go. You can do the same thing with the ball. So let me find the ball for you. Okay, brought in a ball. Okay, just same again. Go to your ellipse tool. Or okay, hold shift down. It'll grow in proportion. Size it up. Okay, you've got your transform tool already selected. Okay, it doesn't need to be perfectly round. Okay, just size it up. Just clicking on there. And there. Okay, and click mask. Hit enter. Okay, hit Command T for your transform tool. Okay, size it up. We'll put it over on here. And we'll go for something like that. Okay, remember this needs to be in with the players as well. And again, select that layer, layer mask, soft brush. Yep, make sure you've got black selected over here. Okay, in fact what I'm going to do is hit V on my move tool, nudge it up. Okay, and I'm just going to hit B from my brush tool. Same again, and what you can do is you can add a little bit of shadow as well. So I've got this one, we'll call that ball. Okay, new layer, comes over the top, add a clipping mask, so hover between the layers and click it. Okay, hit D on your keyboard to reset your palette, so you've got black selected. bring the opacity down to about 40 and the flow down to about 40. Okay, got our soft brush selected. Okay, we can just draw a little bit of shadow on the bottom of the ball where it'd be dark. And that reminds me, we need a shadow. So if you hold, select Timo Werner, hold Alt and select the new layer. In fact, no, wrong one. Hold Command or Control and select the new layer, and it'll drop the layer underneath you. It's a new little shortcut I learnt. This will give us a shadow, so we'll call this one Shadow. So that was hold Command on your Mac and select the new layer, and it'll drop it underneath. Okay, we want to give the players a bit of shadow, so got black selected. Okay, I'm going to right click or double click. I'm just going to drop it down, something like that. And we might as well bring the opacity and the flow up a bit. Soft brush selected, sorry, yeah. Blend it round. And then you can just paint some shadow on there. Okay, you can take your time with that. Okay, if you're familiar with my channel, I like to add a lot of blending in, but for the sake of the tutorial, we haven't got loads of time. These are not the best shadows, to be fair, but if you follow my channel, just drop that opacity there, you should be familiar with how to do shadows and whatnot. Okay, we'll bring in the seaweed, so we want it between the sky and the grass there, so select the sky layer. Okay, and we'll bring that in. And we'll go for something like that. Okay, layer mask. Now I'm just going to go for a soft brush straight from the bat. Okay, you could use a gradient. What we're going to do is I'm just going to do it down to the sea layer just there. And then I'm going to get rid of the grass a little bit. So select the grass, layer mask, and then drop the flow down around 50 for each one. Okay, and we're going to just drop in some seaweed just there. So the grass is like kind of like the forefront. The grass is in there, and I've gone too much on the seaweed, so I'm going to press X on my white, so I'm adding it on. I'm just painting on some seaweed like so. Just move it up a little bit, give it some depth. And yeah, happy days. What else can we do? Okay, so we can go to camera raw filter as well, so you can spice it up a little bit. Press Command Shift Alt and E to stamp it, or Control Shift Alt and E if you're working on Windows. Convert it to a smart object so you can edit it. Okay, go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, not Lens Correction. Camera Raw Filter, press the wrong one there, sorry. Okay, and then you can have a really good play around, okay. What I would say on this one, so what have we got? I would like to go to split toning, so colour grading. So go for like 220 on the mid-tones. Same with the shadows, around 220. 240, sorry. Strength there, yeah. Not too bothered about the highlights. Add a little bit of a vignette as well if you so desire. 20, yeah. Just have a little play around and just, yeah, to your heart's content. Okay, I'm not going to dwell too much onto that. Okay, camera raw filter, you can do it. You can do a lot with it. Change the temperature, give it more of a bit of a tropical feel. Drop it down a little bit there. Give it a little bit more vibrance, a bit more panache. And you see just by changing those little things there, what we've done. But what I will do is I'll add some contrast. So just as a little bit of a finisher. So not hue saturation, sorry, brightness and contrast, where have you gone? There you go, sorry. So I'm just going to give it 20 there. I'm going to add some levels as well, just as like a little finisher. Now I'll drop that to 5 and bring this down to 240 as I did on the previous one, and add a colour lookup as well. And according to my notes, I did the free strip. Okay, change the blend mode to lighten, and yeah, there we go. There's our image. Okay, what you can do as well, just to spice it up if you so desire. Okay, with your players. Okay, you can dodge and burn them. You can add some light behind them. So let's just have a look. Get rid of that camera roll filter. You could add a bit of a white glow as well, and you could also just give them a little bit of a glow around the edges as well. Again, if you follow my tutorials, I've added a yellow layer there. I think I was just playing around with it. Don't really too much about that, but yeah, the possibilities are limitless. Have a little play around. You can see I took my time with the shadows there. Okay, really take your time though to blend in those C's. That's the most difficult part. I think I did an actual better job on this one than I did on the thumbnail version. Looks quite good. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you learned something. Just a quick little one, just to stimulate some more learning in the Photoshop process when it comes to sports edits. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit like. And if you're new to my channel, please take a look at my other content and please subscribe, and I'll see you in a tutorial very soon.